Hi everyone, Steph here. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today is Use Your Stamps Monday, and it's my personal ongoing challenge that I have to get me to use my stamps more. I have a partner in crime. Her name is Kim, and I'll put her channel link in the description box below. She's Kim Paul 64 here on YouTube, and we encourage you to use your stamps. Now today and probably for the rest of this month, July, we are going to add a little twist towards a challenge where Kim and I decide we're going to add a Cricut cut to our project, because also we both realized that we have our Cricut machine and we barely ever used it. So I was happy to incorporate that in the challenge. So let me show you what I used to create my projects. And by the way, it doesn't have to be cards like I'm doing. I just struggle a lot with making cards. So this is just me making cards to try to get past that struggle. All right, so you could use it on scrapbook, a layout, a mini album, journal, canvas, anything. Just use your stamps. So to create my project, I use the Prima Timeless Memory paper pad. This is quite like a mixed media type paper pad, very vintage. It's really pretty. So I use that, and I use a few stamps. I use this, sorry for that glare. I use All Things Are Possible. This is a wood stamp that I got when I first started, and so I just used the sentiment. I didn't use the bee. I actually don't like this bee. It looked like a regular fly that I don't like. So I used just the actual sentiment. I use this Prima, almost like a mixed media type stamp with this beautiful dress form, bouquet, flowers, teapot, the music notes in the background, and the splotches of ink. So I use that, and I use this Sizzix and Hero Arts stamp. I use this one, the branch with the flower and the leaves stamp, and the die for the die cut. Absolutely love it. So let me share with you my project. And I did something that I don't normally do, and that's for all you vintage lovers out there. Yes, I created a more vintage and distressed look. So it's a regular size card, and I did some layering. This is my Cricut cut, and it's a rose, very layered in dimension. I used the, believe it or not, Rock Princess cartridge, and this is the rose that I did with all the layers and stuff. So I did that, and that tiny thing have a lot of layers. So I did that, and I add some brown glitters on it, a few green, and I distressed it to give it that distressed look to go along, vintage look to go along with my card here. So this is the paper collection, these two, and this is a stamp from Prima. What I did is I embossed it, but after inking it up with the Versamark ink, and I sprinkled my embossing powder, I topped off a lot just to give it a more distressed look, and then I heat embossed it. And in the background here, I use my Spellbinders die for both layers, but in the background, this one, I use a embossing folder just to give it some texture and interest, and also to give more interest, I use some tiny little what you call these? One moment. These Recollection micro beads. Absolutely love. I love it for the color. That's why I pick it up, for the color. And yeah, so I use it to adhere it. I use the Prima 3D gloss gel medium, dip it with my finger, and I just touch around just to give that vintage look. And I sprinkle the micro beads, wait until it was dry, and layered up my area here. I did the stamp and emboss the sentiment, and I just cut around it because I didn't want just a square, not a square, but a rectangle shape. So I just fussy cut around the sentiment there. Put 3 pearls, and everything is so distressed using the Tim Holtz distress. As I was saying, I distressed everything using the vintage photo and the rusty hinge. That was it, rusty hinge. You know, these two together, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. Give it that perfect looking burnt edge. Love it. On the inside I did more of the paper, and see what I said, that the two colors, Distress Ink combined, beautiful. And I combined them for the stamps as well, the stamp image there. Absolutely love it. And just enough clear area to write a message. So that's the first card. And the second one, similar but with more layers. So with this one here, instead of just having the spellbinders die like this one flat, I created a frame here, and I did a lot of the micro beads around. I stamp and die cut the branch. I put some flat, a few of them flat, and then I put two behind my Cricut image, cut image there. Flat back pearls, and I did not emboss the image this time. I just stamped it using the vintage photo. I used the splotches of the stamp in the rusty hinge. I tied two pieces of sheer ribbon here, you know, to resemble tying the bouquet. And here I just crunched up my sentiment after stamping, heat embossing, and fussy cut. Scrunch it up just to give it some dimension and interest. Flat back pearls there, and the inside is the same. So these are my projects for today, and of course I'll have pictures at the end. Thank you all so much for stopping by.